for power.
All right. Welcome. This is the LaGuardia after party, and I gotta say, I gotta do my best to bring back my reign on the New York City course. I was doing good for a while there.
New York City?
First class.
Won some races, did some good stuff in New York, so gotta bring it back. Gotta reclaim my place at the top of the Rockefeller, top of the Empire State Building. And today, on the top of the glass, KOM.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
Which, there's a particular rider in here that is not going to make that. Not going to let that happen. But we'll see. We'll see how today goes. Gonna do my best to not push so hard on the front.
Lies, all lies!
And kind of make havoc, but gonna push hard for the KO. That's the focus. Because we got a lot of laps around Central Park. So gonna sign off for now, but I will catch you guys after the race.
All right, so now that all my chest puffing and ego is out of the way, we are ready to get this race started. And like I mentioned before, this is New York is one of my favorite courses. I do like the various hills. Some of the hills are a little bit harder than others, but as a course overall, I do like it. But I do share the feeling with some others when it comes to the glass roads. They are difficult, but they are surmountable. And so as we get going, JD launches like a rocket straight off the front, and you can see him right now just pushing forward, and then little by little just completely moved up, which really set the tone for this race, because a lot of people were just pushing off, and I honestly thought, we were going to, really make it hard. You see him go again, and I do my best not to pursue him, because while we generally talk on his live stream, we don't talk tactics. And so when I saw him go off the front, I was like, you know what? He's going. I'm not going to chase. I'm going to stay, towards the front of this group and make sure that, I don't, I don't interrupt his race. And so as we get through the first ramp up before the sprint, I am just, again, looking to stay with this front group. And so as I start rolling through, I see there's a little bit of a split and end up rolling off the front and catch up to where JD's at. And we just kind of, we're not really looking to, at least at this point, not looking to create a lot of havoc. I wasn't sure if JD was going to continue that pattern of, pushing off the front, making it hard, making sure you see there's one person off the front already, which I was kind of shocked. I was like, all right, well, that person's 4 seconds ahead. Maybe they, maybe they're looking to try and solo it all the way to the line, but whatever it was, I wasn't gonna try and chase. Nobody else seemed to want to chase, so we just kind of left it be. And, basically from here is where we just kind of chill and roll through each lap by lap, making sure that, in my case, I'm doing my best to make sure that the ramp up before the sprint is as hard as it can be. So I push, 400 or 500 watts up that ramp and then ease off as we go through. But like I said, I'll fast forward till later on in the race so you can see how things progress.
Street lights flicker like they watch me roll. Suburb ghost town, but I'm in control. Midnight glide frame hums with tone. Every cul-de-sac feels like a zone. Cut through yards with the grass still wet. Sprinklers hissing like a whispered threat. Mailbox miss, jump a curb on the turn. Neighbors peeking gon' learn. Where you headed? Where you headed? Unknown. Where you headed? Where you headed? Unknown. Pedal spin with no map in mind. House asleep, but I'm racing time. Unknown. Left turn, hedge gap, backyard dip. Lit like a dream on an acid trip. Motion like triggers, I vanish quick. Like the wind was riding a stealthy trick. Hot fences, low where the...
And so as I come up over the ramp again for the sprint after what feels like a dozen times round, like I said, you know, I'm pushing, I guess a little higher than 500 watts, 700 watts. And just really making sure that I'm pushing off the front, staying with some of the guys that are kind of keeping it hard going up this ramp. And this time around, I see a couple guys up front. I pass a couple familiar names. Got Brian in there, who's an excellent rider. LaDuc, who's he and I have gone back and forth on many different races in terms of positioning and racing tactics. He's a strong, strong rider, so I'm always looking to, in a way, compete with him. And so I didn't realize when I came forward that JD was already up front, and so I inadvertently end up, pushing a little too hard and catching up to him, which ultimately pulled other racers with us. So my bad, JD. Didn't mean to do that. And so I eased back again because everybody basically kind of pulled on my tail and ended up catching back up. But we keep doing what we need to do to get around the rest of New York. And so as the group came together, I decided that I wanted to launch an attack of my own up this hill because everyone seemed to kind of slow down here. So I pushed myself off to the right as best I can and just go for it. Give myself a good dig, about 600 watts or so, and do my best to hold that for a little bit of time so that way I can give myself a good distance. And I saw these riders up ahead, so I knew that I could catch up to them with my attack. What I didn't realize at the time is as I started to catch them, they end up exiting the race. So this person's slowing down and disappears. And then the rider in front, I'm like, all right, fine, I'll keep going. I've got, about a 5-second gap or so, 4 or 5 seconds off the person behind me. I see this person slow down and this person exits the race too. And now I'm like, all right, well, my attack, thinking that I was going to go off the front and kind of catch up to these guys and we could continue moving forward, now ended up with me by myself 6 seconds ahead. And so I kind of abandoned that because it was hard effort, but at the same time, not having anyone else to, pull with really wasn't worth that level of effort. So I just kind of, held a decent pace. I wasn't going to drop my watts completely because I knew the group would catch me as we got up to the ramp for the sprint. And so that's, ultimately what I was looking to do is just once they caught me on the sprint, then I would just continue rolling with them. And so that's kind of what happens. And I'll, again, fast forward through all that.
Cats dart off in the silent splits. One dog growl, then a chain link shake. I'm gone like smoke when the world awakes. Unknown, where you headed? Unknown. Pedal spin with no map in mind. House asleep, but I'm racing time. Unknown. Got no finish line, just the wind and will. Every driveway pass gives a deeper thrill. My soul don't wait, my brakes don't squeal. It's the silence I ride and the real I feel. Moonlight trace on the carbon frame. Shadow follows me, knows my name. Goes to the street, I'm the night's own child. Every turn a chance to lose or go wild. Not running from, just riding through. This town don't sleep, it just hides the truth. Where I'm going, man, it's not shown. But I chase that post till the unknown.
All right, so as we get into the glass roads here, I start to push off the front because again, I want to take control of this KOM. JD pushes up ahead of me, which gives me the opportunity to kind of jump onto his tail and use what little bit of draft I'm getting to go up the glass roads. And then he kind of eases off as we start to crest over this 6% climb. And I'm just pushing on, trying to conserve on this flat part, but still wanting to keep the pace up. Because again, I'm only a few seconds ahead of the next person behind me, which is Brian, and he's a strong climber, so I know if I ease off a little bit, he's going to be right on my tail. Same with a couple of these other climbers, and so as I'm reaching this next elevation, just doing my best to push, staying in the five-ish watts range. Now I had to, on this part here, I had to ease off a little bit. You can kind of hear the crunching of my gears. I was trying to get into a lower gear and figure out, where I could stay at. And I see this first person pass me. And I was like, all right, no big deal. I'll catch him on the climb. Do my best to kind of hold a strong pace. But little by little, the distance started growing between me and them. And so I, was at this point focusing on, if I can stay within reach, then maybe I can come in second place, unless they start to fade towards the top and another person starts to come up behind me. And as this person starts to come up behind me, I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep pushing hard. Maybe we'll make something happen and catch up to this rider up front. But they end up passing me. And so again, while I do my best to get some rest on this flat part, I'm still doing my best to push hard. I end up passing them, and we kind of play this game of shuffling back and forth between second and third place. And so they start passing me here again, up the glass road. And so I just put on the gas as best I can to get to as best place as possible, but they start to take off, man. They gapped me in a way that I was completely shocked. And you can see they're still holding, they were doing 7+ watts a kilogram. I ended up topping out at about 6.5. And so again, you can see their fire socks from here. They were just booking it. So that was what it was for me. At this point, my focus turned to making sure that I don't lose podium. And that is how the rest of this goes. All right, so as you can see there, across the line in third place, not too far behind first place rider, which, man, oh man, these guys definitely took me to task on that climb. But I gotta say, considering the fact that
Oh my God, that hurt.
I am not as strong a climber as some of these other guys,
Come on, JD.
getting my 5-minute power up to 4.1 was fantastic. And so I did my best to check in there with JD on his ride and where he ended up. And you see my 20-minute powers at 3.3, which again, right at the max. So I definitely performed better than I thought I would, considering this weekend I had a lot of fun with Sam and Eric, pushing hard, trying to improve my 5-minute power, and Sam really, really made us work. Definitely did not give us any breaks there. So you see Brian came in 8th place. I think JD came in around either 9th or 11th, somewhere in that place. See my camera freezing a bit. I don't know what happened. My Zwift audio didn't record. My, full body cam didn't do well. And so other than, I'm glad that the technical issues didn't involve my trainer or anything else. So no dropouts, no crazy mechanicals there. So the rest of it is what it is, and I'll work on it down the road so that way I can get it, get these videos working again. So hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys on the next race.
Hey guys, it's Miguel from that thing you just watched. Hope you enjoyed that video, whether it was topic on nutrition or racing or a combination of both. Feel free to come back. I will continue to put out videos like this and continue to showcase what you can do with smart nutritional strategies, combining that with racing, because that is what this channel is all about. And feel free to check in if you want to see more racing. Click on wherever the link's at, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next race.